Every best luxury neighborhood in LA list looks exactly the same. And listen, not a lot of them are wrong, but it's showing the same stuff. Beverly Hills, Malibu, Bel Air, we've all seen it time and time again. Those lists are tired. I've been selling luxury real estate in this city for years. I know which ones are genuinely elite and which ones are just selling you a brand more than a lifestyle. But most importantly, I know exactly which neighborhoods are delivering the best value outside of a famous zip code in Los Angeles right now. Today I'm ranking 6, 3 overrated, 3 underrated. And I promise you at least 2 of them are gonna surprise you. I'm Eddie Fallah, a luxury real estate agent right here in Los Angeles that has been working in this market for over 14 years. I work with buyers, sellers, and investors across this entire market. And today, we're gonna dive into this list of the most overrated and underrated luxury markets in Los Angeles right now. Let's start with the 3 most overrated. Before we get into it, I wanna define my terms because overrated is a word that a lot of people throw out without being specific as to what they mean by it. To me, overrated doesn't mean bad. It just means that you're not getting the proportionate value to what you're paying to get into that specific neighborhood. So what does value look like? It looks like lifestyle. It looks like the appreciation over time. It looks like your day-to-day life inside that specific pocket. Is it worth the price that you're spending to get into it? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these neighborhoods are great. They're just not great enough to justify the gap. Underrated means the fundamentals are strong. The trajectory is real and the market hasn't fully priced it in yet. Or the neighborhood is just simply great. It just doesn't have that PR machine behind it, pushing it out into media or into the narratives that everybody else is talking about. I'll give you both sides on every single one. Let's go. Let's start with the most controversial one first. Bel Air. Hear me out. Bel Air is one of the most iconic addresses on earth. The land is real, the properties are real, the views are real. I'm not disputing any of that. But here's what the Instagram accounts don't show you. A massive inventory of ultra spec homes that have been sitting on the market for 1, 2, sometimes even 3 years without a single offer in sight. Developers came in, spent $30, $40, $50 million on glass boxes on stilts with the promise that Bel Air will sell the home for them based on the location alone. But these properties are just sitting on the market, costing these developers holding costs, costing them a lot of stress, and quite frankly, tying up their money that they can't use to get into other projects. The buyer pool for that market is just simply thinner than the market assumed it would be. Let's consider the one. It was priced at $500 million, causing a lot of media buzz when it came out. And it ended up selling at auction for a measly $126 million. Measly is funny enough to talk about when you're talking about 126, but that is a huge gap between what they thought it was worth and what it eventually sold for. That's not a success story. That's a cautionary tale. Beyond the spec home issue, Bel Air just offers very little in terms of walkability, a community feel, or just proximity to day-to-day life. You're basically paying for isolation behind gates that are guarding you. And if that's what you're paying for, that's great. But within 6 months, a lot of buyers are finding out that the lifestyle is a lot lonelier than they were expecting it to be. Who does it work for? Established buyers who are looking for a lot of privacy. They're not really looking to spend their day-to-day life out in the community. And they're looking for a gated home that doesn't depend on their neighborhood for their lifestyle. For that type of buyer, it works great. But for the most of us, there's a lot better places where your money can go. Second on my list of the most overrated luxury neighborhoods is Los Feliz. Los Feliz is genuinely one of the most incredible neighborhoods in Los Angeles. The architectural styles, you get the Spanish colonials, you get a lot of mid-century style homes, the Lloyd Wright designs that are tucked into the hills. It's legitimately stunning. The Griffith Park access is incredible, and Vermont Avenue has some of the best restaurants in the city. So then why is it on my overrated list? Because in the last 5 to 7 years, fundamentally, the prices of homes in Los Feliz has crept into the upper echelon tier of other neighborhoods that just provide a lot more. More land, better schools, stronger appreciation consistency. Los Feliz used to be this hidden gem where people could go and get into some very affordable homes with a decent chunk of change, but now it's in direct competition with some other neighborhoods that just frankly offer a lot more. You could spend $4, $5, $6 million for a home in Los Feliz and have very little land, a very tight lot. And a lot of these homes are built vertically, meaning that there's a lot of stairs, to be frank. The closest elementary school in Los Feliz underperforms LA standards by quite a margin. And the neighborhood's cultural cachet, what makes it so trendy, has really just driven up the prices to a point where it's no longer worth it to buy. You see, a lifestyle premium and appreciation potential are 2 different things. But a lot of buyers in the Los Feliz area are thinking they're getting both when they spend these high prices on homes. Often buyers are paying for one, thinking they're getting the other. If you genuinely love the Los Feliz neighborhood and you plan on living there long term, then go ahead and buy it. The quality of life there is real, but compare it hard with Echo Park and Silver Lake before you fully dive in and make that move. Because the gap in lifestyle between those different communities is a lot narrower than what the price suggests these days. Let's jump into number 3 on the overrated list, and that's Calabasas. I know, the gated communities look incredible on camera and the pictures just don't do it justice. But let me tell you what's actually happening in the Calabasas luxury market, because it's very telling. Calabasas pricing peaked during COVID because people were fleeing the city to get over there and have a lot more land, a lot more privacy, and that really drove the prices up. Nowadays, people are sitting on the market at or below the levels that they were paying for these homes in 2021 and 2022. The appreciation window that Calabasas had during the surge after COVID is slowly softening, and it's almost grinded to a halt. And the lifestyle trade-offs are real. You're about a 30-minute travel distance to get to anywhere else in Los Angeles at minimum. And that's on a non-traffic day. There are almost no non-traffic days on the 101 in Los Angeles living. The entire lifestyle and retail scene is centered around the Commons in Calabasas, which offers not that much if you're going to be spending every day there. You're paying luxury prices for a commute and a gate. If you look at some of the price per square foot of the homes that are trading in Calabasas right now, well over $1,100 a foot for your standard 5-bedroom home in a gated community. But a very short distance away in Agora Hills, you can get that same home with even more land for almost half the price per square foot these days. You're still commuting. You still have access to the same luxuries that you would have in Calabasas, which would be Westlake Village or the Commons in Calabasas or whatever that side of the freeway offers, but you're paying almost double the price just to be behind the gate and have the name of Calabasas. Who does it really work for? For families who want that privacy and families who typically work from home. They don't need to commute on a day-to-day basis. It also works for people who want to be close enough to Los Angeles, but not right in the thick of things. And a lot of people do move there for that specific school district, which is very popular here in Southern California. If that's you, the value proposition does hold. Otherwise, I would suggest that you look harder before you buy the brand. Okay, that's the overrated list. Now let's take a look at some of the neighborhoods that are underrated here in Los Angeles, because I'm very excited about them right now. But first, really quick, if you're finding this useful, drop me a comment below and let me know what neighborhood you would have on your list, whether it be overrated or underrated. I do read every single one of these comments, and it genuinely helps me chart a path for my future videos as to see what you guys are very interested in hearing. All right, let's get into the underrated picks. First on my list of underrated neighborhoods is Eagle Rock. Eagle Rock sits between Pasadena and Los Feliz, and it's quietly been swallowing up a lot of the buyers who were priced out of Los Feliz and Silver Lake. But those buyers are moving in and realizing this is actually a much better lifestyle than the places they were hoping to go before. Here's what you get: genuine architectural character, original craftsmen, mid-century moderns, and some beautiful hillside homes that are just leaving people stunned at how little they have to spend to actually obtain them. And these homes are sitting on lots that are meaningfully much larger than anything else you would get on the west side. Colorado Boulevard has legitimately become an excellent corridor with a ton of restaurants and coffee shops and a great place to spend your weekends hanging out. And the community is tight-knit and electric in a way that doesn't feel manufactured. It just feels very natural. Eagle Rock is one of the few LA neighborhoods left that still offers an opportunity for a thoughtful renovation to legitimately pencil out. The spread between the dated homes and the renovated homes is still large enough that it does make a lot of sense to add value to the homes there. The numbers still pencil out at the very end. Whereas in Silver Lake and Los Feliz, that gap has closed by quite a margin. In Eagle Rock, you can still find some nice fixers or older homes and come out with a lot of value on the back end. Now, the demographics in Eagle Rock have changed a lot over the years as well. Now you're getting a lot of architects, directors, people that are big in the tech industry. And typically demographics begin to change before the prices start to shoot up. If you have between $1.5 to $2.5 million, Eagle Rock is a perfect blend of beautiful homes, appreciation that will be coming in the future, and an electric community that you can be a part of. Eagle Rock is at the top of my list. At number 2 comes my boldest pick, and that's Pasadena. I think Pasadena actually represents the single most interesting opportunity for buyers today in the LA market. It's an unincorporated community at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains, just north of Pasadena. There's no city hall, there's no downtown, and that's kind of the whole point. The homes here, craftsmen's, mid-century moderns, and beautiful hillside homes on very large lots offer something you don't get anywhere else in LA. At this price point, you simply cannot get this much land and yet get homes that are this beautiful anywhere on the west side, to be honest. Trail access is literally at the end of neighborhood streets, and the views are extraordinary. And furthermore, the community has a real identity to it. A lot of artists, musicians, a large craft scene. You get long-term locals that put their stamp on the community, and that gives it a texture that you just can't replicate. Now, as a caveat, Pasadena was affected by the Eaton fires earlier this year. That's real and it's worth acknowledging. But the long-term thesis here predates those fires, and the fundamentals of this community, honestly, keep this community very strong. If you're a patient buyer that does your proper due diligence, you will realize that Pasadena was a community that was on the up and up and still continues to be so to this day. The other thing you want to consider is that most of the homes in Pasadena are rebuilding, and you're going to have a bunch of brand new homes in this area. What is that going to do for the value of homes? Well, it's only going to push it up. Buyers who purchase in locations based on strong fundamentals that are predated by a lot of very deep research often end up looking like the smartest buyers in the end. Now, I'm not going to pretend that there's no complexity here. There absolutely is. But Pasadena was one of the most compelling value plays before the Eaton fires in January of 2025. And the underlying reasons for that still haven't changed. The only thing that's changed is that more brand new homes will be entering the market. And third on my underrated list is Beverly Grove. Beverly Grove is a neighborhood that West Side buyers drive past to get to Beverly Hills without realizing that they should have probably stopped when they reached it. It sits between West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and the Fairfax district, and it punches way above its weight. Beverly Boulevard, 3rd Street, Melrose District. This is some of the best day-to-day dining and retail in the entire city. You have the Farmers Market and the Grove within walking distance. Cedars-Sinai is minutes away. And yet the residential streets running between Beverly and 3rd are surprisingly quiet. Tree-lined streets that offer real community, a real neighborhood, and an electric base of people that live in the neighborhood. You can get a beautifully renovated home in Beverly Grove just minutes away from Beverly Hills at a fraction of the cost. And you still have access to all the same amenities. It's still very close to get over to Rodeo Drive, or you could just hang out in your beautiful new neighborhood. One of the biggest benefits for Beverly Grove is its adjacency value. It shares the lifestyle infrastructure of Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, the Fairfax district, all without having to be priced that high to get in. You're not paying the brand tax. That gap historically closes over time as people realize that they're getting 85% of the lifestyle value while only getting in at 70% of the cost. It's also a very strong market for rental investors. I have been renting and purchasing homes for clients in Beverly Grove for many, many years. It was the first neighborhood that I started really attacking when I first moved to LA. Some of those homes fully furnished rent anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 plus, and you just won't find returns like that in a lot of different places in Los Angeles without having to step up your cost basis by a few $1,000,000. Now, in the mid-2010s, Beverly Grove was the hotspot for developers. People were buying up old Spanish homes and building beautiful mansions over and over like clockwork. It was an extremely hot neighborhood. Ever since COVID, with the dying down of Melrose a little bit, this neighborhood has slowly slowed down in appreciation. But the fundamentals are still there. You're still only a mile away from Beverly Hills. You're right next to West Hollywood. That will never change. You can't change the location that Beverly Grove finds itself sitting in. So I actually think that right now, whereas this neighborhood could have been an overrated one potentially 6 to 7 years ago, I have it on my underrated list now because I believe that it's going to have a strong surge back in the near future. So if you've been looking on the west side but feel genuinely priced out, Beverly Grove should be the next place that you should be exploring with your agent. So here's the through line on everything that I've said today. The best decisions on neighborhood selection in Los Angeles are not made by following famous zip codes. They're made by understanding what you're actually buying and what you're actually paying for. Bel Air, Los Feliz, Calabasas. These are genuinely good buys under the right circumstances. But the premium you're paying on the brand in these neighborhoods is worth examining what you're actually getting in return. Eagle Rock, Altadena, Beverly Grove. These neighborhoods are not shortcuts, and they're certainly not compromises. But for the right buyer, they're genuinely the better answer. Drop in the comments below which one actually surprised you the most. And if you're an LA local, feel free to tell me what I got wrong and what I got right. I'm always open to hearing. If you want to talk through any of this for your own search, whether you're buying, selling, or investing in the LA market, my links are in the description below. You can book a call, reach out directly, or just follow along. And if this gave you one new thing to think about, please subscribe. I drop content like this every week. This has been Eddie Fallah, and I'll see you on the next one.